Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. Great to see everybody out there. We've missed everybody. We haven't been on lately, and that's because we are in the United States. We're here visiting family. Beautiful day out. And Brittany happened to mention some things that we thought would be interesting to talk about on the channel. Some things that maybe you guys would like to know about in case you don't know about traveling the United States or Mexico. So what were you thinking?
So we need to get gas, and I was looking at the gas station and it looked too crowded, and I was thinking, oh, it's too crowded, we shouldn't go. But I was thinking, if we were in Mexico, they say to go where it's crowded because it's safer to go when it's crowded, not to go when it's not crowded.
In a large gas station where there's a lot of people, never stop in an isolated gas station. Make sure that we never go under half a tank. So we try to find the largest gas stations that we can.
And another big difference when you're driving in Mexico and the United States is that in Mexico, you usually want to take the toll roads because it's supposed to be safer. But in the US, like right now, we're driving to my grandparents' house and we did avoid tolls, which is something you wouldn't do if you were in Mexico.
How do you feel about the driving in general? Do you feel like it's more stressful or less stressful here?
I would say generally in the United States, it's less stressful. You don't have to worry about so many military checkpoints. In Mexico, the tolls are so expensive and they're more frequent. And also, when you're not on a toll road, it's usually like a lot of toll pays. I don't miss the toll pays.
I thought I had to pee before. What Brittany brought out is such a great thought. When you're in Mexico, depending on where you're traveling especially, but pretty much all over the place, you're going to be stopped by the military because they're going to have different checkpoints. Mexico is big on security, and they want to make sure that the people traveling are traveling for the right reasons and don't have any illegal things. You can see on our channel that we've been stopped many times in Mexico for military checkpoints, and we've never had any issues. They just look through your car, they just ask you a couple questions, and then they say have a nice day. So it is, however, an inconvenience. Even though we've never had any issues, it's just an inconvenience. And that's an inconvenience that the last time we checked driving in the United States, they really don't have much of that. Driving through Texas, they actually did have a couple of them, but in Mexico, driving through, every time you come into a new state, you know, not every time, but a lot of the time you drive in through a new state, they're going to have a military checkpoint, have you slow down. Very likely, especially if you're a foreigner, they're going to pull you over and they're going to check, see what's going on. So it's a very different dynamic than driving in the United States. That's one thing that I definitely don't miss, because you can estimate, okay, I need to be here in an hour. Am I going to have any issues? In the US? Probably not. At least in the states that we've driven in the United States, it was a whole lot of them, and we've never really had any issues like that. In Mexico, you might literally say, okay, I have to be here in an hour. I have to account for a checkpoint, which seems a little crazy, but that's just part of what you have to deal with. Another thing when you're driving in Mexico that you may have to worry about, that you might not have to worry about in the United States, is being bribed on the side of the road by a police officer. So for example, if you're driving in Mexico and you do something illegal, especially if you do something illegal, you might be pulled over by the Mexican police, and they might tell you, hey, you know, if we give you a ticket for what you just did wrong, it might cost you $500 US. But if you give us 500 pesos, which is like, you know, $30 depending on the exchange rate at the time, we'll let you off the hook. Now, I'm not saying that they don't pull people over for no reason at all and bribe you for no reason at all. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but what I am saying is every single time I've ever heard of them pulling anybody over, every person that I've talked to, every experience that I've had, if they pull you over, it's because you did something illegal that they're bribing you, that they're saying, give me some money and I'll let you go. A lot of the time, they're doing you a favor because in order to pay the ticket, it's going to cost you more money and more of your time. So they're kind of like giving you a convenience by actually asking you for money. Of course, this is illegal, and because it's illegal, Brittany and I, if we did do something wrong, we would just be like, give us the ticket and, you know, have a nice day. Another thing to talk about is the cartels. When you're driving in the United States, of course it depends on the state, because anyone who knows what's going on knows that the Mexican cartels do occupy a lot of states in the United States, okay? If you are aware of what's happening, you know that they're here in the United States.
I can tell you that we do have cartels here.
It's not supposed to be here, not in the scenic town of Seaside. Out-of-towners that can help mask the infiltration of cartels.
But it's a lot less likely that you're going to see them, and it's a lot less likely that they're going to be pulling you over. Driving in Mexico at night is not a good idea. It's not a good idea for multiple reasons. Number one, physical safety while you're driving, right? In Mexico, like Brittany mentioned, there's tons of topes. Very, very bad roads sometimes. There might be some bad roads in the United States too, but it's very likely you're going to be seeing any topes. So you're more likely to be able to travel safely at night. Another reason to not travel at night is safety because of maybe violence, right? The cartels, apparently, from what we've been told, are very active at night. So you don't want to be out at night. In the United States, it's a lot safer driving at night because, again, like we mentioned, there's a lot less cartel activity that you can physically see. And there's just the idea that it's safer in general. Of course, if you follow the news in the United States, you know that there's tons of states, probably all the states, are very dangerous now. There's a lot of dangers within the United States. A lot of people with guns doing crazy things, a lot of robberies. It's not a safe world that we live in. So I'm not saying that Mexico is safer or less safe. What I'm saying is there's different things you need to watch out for, and no matter where you are, you have to try to make conscious decisions in order to keep yourself safe.
And if you guys like this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this. Another difference between driving in Mexico and the United States is when you're getting gas. Now, if you're in New Jersey, this doesn't really apply to you so much, but in a lot of the United States, you can pump your own gas.
Go anywhere in the U.S. and you're pumping your own gas, except for New Jersey. For decades, Jersey and Oregon were the only states left where a gas station attendant had to do it for you. But that Oregon law just got revoked, leaving Jersey as the sole holdout.
Whereas in Mexico, there's an attendant that pumps your gas. And so that's pretty convenient that you don't know you pump your own gas, you don't tip someone, you don't have to do that. A big common practice in Mexico is they may use the gas from the person before you, so you want to make sure that it's on zero, it's zeroed out.
You need to do, and they will usually point this out to you, is that the meter is at zero. So you're not paying for your gas plus the gas of the person before you.
And here, I get to pump, and I can see it's already on zeros. So that makes it easy. Another big difference is that the price of gas is much cheaper. Even though I was just pulling in, and it said $4.11, I was like, oh no. Because we saw gas for like $3.79 a gallon. And I was down to 2 bars in the car, so about 2 gallons, about 2 gallons left. I could go about 60 miles. And so I was very low on gas, and it came out to $34.48. Whereas if I was in Mexico, it would be over $60. So gas is much cheaper, and generally speaking, for most of the United States, most, not all states, but you can pump your own gas, which is pretty nice.
So hopefully this video was helpful in some way. I look forward to getting out some more Mexico content to you guys soon. We have some videos that we'd like to edit while we're here in the United States. And we also look forward to getting back to our home country of Mexico very soon. It's really nice being able to be an expat. And yes, guys, I said expat because so many people that come on the channel and they'll be like,
"You're not an expat, you're an immigrant."
The difference between an expat and immigrant is an immigrant is somebody who leaves their country permanently with no desire or intention to ever go back. Clearly, Brittany and I are in the United States.
Unlike immigrants, expats typically maintain strong ties to their home country and often plan to return after a certain period.
So if you're in the United States and you frequent another country as well, that means you're an expat. Doesn't matter if you're white, black, Chinese, Mexican, doesn't matter, right? Everybody says, oh, only expats or the only expats are white people. White people call themselves expats so they don't have to call themselves immigrants. Not the case at all. Catch you guys in the next video.